Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hogsty. Like the thunderous booms of Matt Jones' footsteps, the Redskins roared out of the gates today against St. Louis and almost never let off the gas. The final tally was 24-10 Redskins, but the game was even more lopsided than the score. We saw some strong performances today and some real reasons for hope. So Redskins fans, start the week-long glory bask now, give me a hallelujah, and come along with us as we take you through the game coming up next.
It's the Hogsty.
Got it there? All right. Hallelujah, ladies and gentlemen.
Woot! Woot, I say.
This is the Hogsty, and we have a win to talk about. That's right. My name's Sean Conti. I've got the crew here today, as always, Robbie Duncan.
Hey, guys. And I am eating a big plate of crow right now, and I'm glad to be eating it. Never tasted so good before.
Never tasted so sweet. Alex Zeese is here.
Ladies and gentlemen, extinguish the dumpster fires of defeat and set fire to the couches of victory.
My God, I love it so much. And Steve Thomas, bringing it up on the end here.
Very excited to be here. Thank God we had a win.
Thank God. And this win was pretty beautiful. We have a lot to talk about. I guess maybe we can start offense stuff, maybe, because I think we saw some good stuff there last week. We can definitely compare Kirk's performance to last week, so let's just dive right in. Somebody hit me with the stats. Does anybody have Kirk's stats?
Okay. Yeah, I do. He had a decent game today, obviously. It's on the wrong screen here. Forgive me.
I can pull. I got him right here if you want. 23 for 27,
Don't touch my
203
stats.
yards.
Do not touch my stats. Do not touch stats.
He wants to do the stats for the first winning game of the Hogsty.
Sorry, Steve. Sorry.
Don't take my statistical glory.
We're all just so giddy. I mean, we're celebrating a big win against a team that I really thought we were going to lose to. So, a little rambunctious here right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a quick
Now
shout out. It's not Kirk Cousins, but quick congratulations. Joe Barry gets his first win as defensive coordinator ever.
Yeah, seriously. Good job, Joe. And it didn't look bad, save for that one play. But let's get to defense in a second. Let's stay with Kirk for a second, because I think no matter what the stats were, it was a good game. Good game for Kirk.
Now I have him, even though Alex tried to steal my thunder. Kirk was 23, 27, 203 yards, 1 touchdown, 7.5 yards per attempt, and 2 sacks.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Not a bad stat line. Not a great stat line either. It's not going to knock your socks off necessarily. I don't think anyone would say he's the reason that we won, but he definitely did what he needed to do. He took what was there in front of him, and that's something that we could be glad about.
Hey, 4 incompletions is a good day for anybody.
Hell yeah, it is.
Well, you know what he did? I mean, he managed the game. He didn't do anything spectacular, but he didn't mess anything up either. And he took what was in front of him, and he made some good throws. And that's for Kirk Cousins. That's probably about all we can expect. Today was about as good as Kirk Cousins gets, I think.
Yeah,
Hopefully
I agree.
Get that.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say, don't forget, he blew it up week 2 last year. I think it was against the Jaguars, too. We scored 41 points to their 10. That was that could have been, that was misleading, obviously, for what we got the rest of the season. So there's no reason to get too excited about today. But still, good stuff. I love that touchdown pass to Pierre. It looked like the same pass that he threw to Jordan Reed. I know it was a little more of a bullet than a lob, but, I mean, it was a great pass. They got the job done.
Good route.
Can we just give some props to Garcon on that? It was a great route.
Definitely.
He said he created some separation there in the end zone. That was, it wasn't really a push off, but he was able to juke the defender at just the very last minute and make kind of this weird over the shoulder grab. Great play by Garcon.
I'll tell you the play he made that I thought was even better than that. That first down where he just, he caught the ball a yard shy, but then he reached out that big old arm of his, and he got it about a foot past the marker.
Yeah.
And, they called it a 4th down at first, but then they looked at it again or something and decided it was a 1st down. That, to me, was his best play of the day.
Yeah, that was football smarts on that to really think about reaching that far.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
Yep. We saw, obviously, we're feeling the loss of Djax there. We saw a couple long pass attempts. I forget who it was in there. Was it Grant that was the recipient of that?
It was Grant.
Yeah. Good play from him.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I mean, our offense has noticeably adjusted, and I don't know if it's just because of the loss of Jackson. I mean, through 2 weeks here, Jay Gruden has actually done what he said he was going to do, and turned us into a running team. We're not really running a power game all the time, but it looks more and more like the old Redskins from the glory days.
Yeah,
at least through week 2.
It's looking a lot like Joe Gibbs 2.0 to me more. Since we don't have a quarterback who's airing it out for 300 plus yards at this point.
Yeah,
but
I kind of have a point about that, and that's that I feel like the Redskins don't often attempt those big home run plays. No. I know that you only get 1 or 2 of those a game from even the teams that like to do it, but still, you have to do it sometimes to stretch the field and like draw a penalty. If you don't take the shots there, you're not going to even draw the penalty. If you get the penalty, you move up to the spot of the foul. So, I mean, you've got to take those shots sometimes, and that's what I feel like Jay Gruden doesn't like to do. And that sort of makes our offense, it can make us sort of one-dimensional.
Well, he's taken one of them each game at least, but neither of them have been effective.
Right.
We overthrew Grant this time. Last week we overthrew Deshaun Jackson, and he got hurt. So
right.
So one thing I really liked, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but like our most typical formation this game was this three tight end sets. We had 2 tight ends on one side, an extra tight end on the other, and 1 wideout flexed out on the other side. And we were just cramming it down their throats. We were pulling a lot of the linemen. I think they were very smart in their scheme by thinking of pulling our offensive line, letting their defensive line penetrate and think that they're going to make plays. That's what because that's what they always do. They're such an attacking defensive line. Right. They use that against them. We ran a lot of toss plays with Williams and Moses pulling. Sean Laval got a lot of pulls.
Yeah.
A little line jiu-jitsu sounding thing is what you're talking about.
And Laval was sticking out to me many times this game. I think he had a hell of a game.
Definitely. I want to come back.
I thought he had some struggles early on. He let up that sack. It looked like a couple of times when we got blown up, it was that gap between Laval and Lichtensteiger.
Yeah, I think that looked like miscommunication on their protection. It looked like a full slide to the left side with Trent, Laval, and Lichtensteiger, and I think between the 2 of them, someone messed up, and it obviously looks like it was Laval, but I think Lichtensteiger should have been ready for that inside rush by Donald there. So probably, Bill Callahan would probably put that on both of them.
Okay.
I mean, Laval, I think maybe had 1 or 2 plays where he could have done better, but certainly I think that was one of his better games. To me, the MVP of this game, I would give co-MVP awards to the entire offensive line. I think they were the ones that set everything up. Matt Jones is the one that had 123 yards rushing, on 19 attempts, 6.5 yards average. But to me, the game was won in the trenches on both the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Like Robbie just said, they used the Rams' aggressiveness against them. They basically manhandled them at the point of attack. How many times and how many dropbacks did we see where it was a completely clean pocket?
Yeah,
completely
most
clean
of them,
pocket.
I feel like,
Yep.
Yeah, I think so too. Most of them.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to call out. I mean, you're totally right about the offensive line, and to Robbie's point specifically about Laval on that Matt Jones, 40-yard touchdown run. I think it was Laval that really sprung him loose. A drive before that, Morris pulled off almost that exact same play. I think in that same 3 tight end set, it was another run along the sideline that went for 35. It was like the same play. It was beautiful. I agree. I loved what I saw from the offensive line today. Gorgeous stuff.
Just since we're talking about the running game, I loved the even distribution of the carries to Jones and Morris all game long.
Yeah, what was it like?
I don't know why we didn't do that week 1, and Jones didn't get much playing time. I don't know if he was maybe a little banged up from preseason, but I think there was 1 carry difference between the 2, and that's really what we need to see all season long, I think.
Well, first of all, Morris had 18 carries, 59 yards to Mike Jones's 19. I don't think that's really it, honestly. Gruden is a guy who kind of rides a hot hand a little bit in many cases, and he saw last week Morris was just rolling, and this week, Jones kind of got rolling and was unstoppable there. So I think Gruden is the type of guy that what's going on in the game that's working, he's going to keep doing it. And today it was Jones.
Well, I agree, but at the same time, you need to just have some balance so they keep fresh. That's my big
Well,
thing.
yeah, I mean, but Morris needs he's been better when he has more carries. If he can get 20 carries, 20 to 25 carries, he's doing good.
And that's what I think you can expect for our game this Thursday against the Giants. I think Morris had all the work done in the first week, kind of gave more of it to Matt Jones this game. And I think it's going to be a big Alfred Morris attack on Thursday to kind of, lighten his load a little bit, let him. I mean, he's still got his work today, but it's not nearly the same amount of carries and same kind of grind it was. So I think you're going to see a lot of Alfred Morris on Thursday and less of Matt Jones. Like you said, ride the hot hand, kind of work a rotation there. You don't have to kill one running back with the guys that we have now, and Matt Jones is proving himself. So that's a big bonus.
Yeah.
God, how beautiful is it to be able to say we have two guys that can spell each other like that? They're both viable options. I mean, I don't want to get too excited about Matt Jones through 2 games. But
yeah, it's only been 2 games.
But still, I mean, it's hard not to hope because that was the tough front, group that he faced today, and he did well. He was the MVP. He gets the game ball from me.
Oh, yeah. And I'd argue, though, I mean, yeah, it's 2 regular season games, but, I mean, we saw this in the preseason, and we were like, "Oh, pump the brakes." It's only preseason. He's doing really well, but come on, it's preseason. But I mean, it's continuing. It's not slowing down at all. So I mean, I'm legitimately encouraged by what he's doing. I don't see any slowing down from him actually.
And he runs with a lot of, I don't know what the right word is, force, energy. Explosiveness. He's not a track star burner, but that guy is really, really moving, and he's bringing a big load when he runs. But at the same time, he's got enough elusiveness that he can make a cut or a move and juke somebody, and we saw him do that today.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy.
My game balls go to the offensive line. By the way, Sean, you gave it to Jones to meet with a line.
Their fates.
Go ahead.
Their fates are tied together for sure. They both came today to play. Who else I was going to ask? Do we want to highlight on the offense? I mean, we saw great plays from Jordan Reed.
Sure, that would be my next name. Yeah,
saw great plays from him.
He's Kirk Cousins' favorite target. It looks like. I mean, he may not get a touchdown every game or get a crazy amount of yards, but he gets thrown to almost every other pass. It seems so. I mean, he's a very reliable target for Kirk.
Yeah, he had a really good game. Not like a blowout, stat line or anything, but just another solid week for him. I think he did well last week. Did well this week. I was a little worried. They showed him on the sideline at one point in the second quarter, I think it was. He took a hit kind of late and was limping a little out of bounds and grimacing, and I was a little worried there. But he came back in. Maybe he's learning to play through it more.
God, at the first sign of any injury there, take that dude out. Please take him out and put him
on. They did. He basically went to the sideline and stayed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
It's not a matter of him playing through it. It's not a matter of him playing through anything. It's a matter of he just needs to stop getting hurt, period. He had six receptions, 82 yards. It's not that I don't think that he's tough. Some people are just more susceptible to injuries, and he's just one of those guys.
Yeah.
I hate to question his toughness about it, but he just gets hurt. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's limping at all, I mean, he's proven his worth to this team. So stay healthy.
Yes.
I wanted to make one other note about the offense. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Jay Gruden's play calling, particularly on 3rd and down, continues to confound me. Like, it completely flusters me. I sit in the corner with a bucket on my head after some of his 3rd down calls. Can someone explain to me why he throws those short, stupid screens on 3rd and long, like 3rd and 18?
Yes, I'll tell you exactly why. He doesn't want any turnovers. He's at this point, if it's 3rd and long, anything like more than 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, anything like that that's further, I think he's seeing it, why take a chance of turning the ball over, giving them momentum and great field position.
But as a player, do you think that's is that solid?
No, I mean, as a player, I would prefer that the coach would call for for a play to help us get the first down and drive down the field. But I understand what he's thinking. I think a lot of what you don't realize is a lot of coaches really do play the field position game, and they just kind of cut their losses. If it's 3rd and 9 yeah, let's throw a screen and hopefully we execute it well enough where we can get the first down. If not, then we got enough yards to, kind of flip the field position a little bit for when we punt. So, I mean, yeah, it's not, as a fan and as a player, it's not the sexy thing to do, but it's the smart thing-ish to do.
And you can't do that every time, though. You got to, at some point, go for the first down. I get it. If it's 3rd and 20, okay, fine, surrender. But on a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, at some point, you got to send the tight end or Pierre Garçon or somebody to the sticks.
Agreed.
Because we all talk about this yak thing. Personally, I'd rather not have to rely on yak. I'd rather have them sometimes catch the ball at or beyond the first down marker.
Yeah,
and I get what you're saying, Robbie, and it's a conservative thing. I really do understand it, but sometimes I think nothing else to mix it up, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
Well, and my one thing is, like you said, I get the field position game. If it's 3rd and 9 and you throw a 40-yard interception, it's the same as a punt. So I agree. Why not just take the risk, throw the ball deep, and it's either the equivalent of a shitty punt, or it's nothing, or you get the big play.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it just seems like you're burning it down because you don't have confidence. I get the smart aspect of it, and I know that Kirk Cousins historically tends to throw interceptions on 3rd down like that, but still, it's just kind of a lame duck way to go about things. Let's switch over to defense. What do we see from defense? We got Breland back this week. I think we saw some good plays. I mean, for the second week in a row, we held him to 10 points, so it's pretty good stuff.
I'd say Paya kind of lucked out in getting that sack on Nick Foles. I mean, I mean, credit to him for chasing him and getting there to get the sack, but Nick Foles just kind of dropped the football. He had a clear lane to run.
It didn't look good.
It just slipped out of his hands and had to fall on it. I mean,
it looks strangely like that little play that RG3 got injured on in the preseason.
Yeah.
It's true. So, I mean, credit to Paya for getting his hustle sack there, but the pressure.
Well, did you notice something about this game? I'm sorry to cut you off, but that Paya play brings up a good point. We actually had stuff go our way this week. We had that sack. I forget who it was on the Rams defense dropped a easy interception. From Colt from Kirk that should have been intercepted.
Ugly pass.
Both those
we
things
didn't talk
went
about that.
our way. Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, look, they all can't be perfect. But my point isn't to bash him, but to say, usually those things go against us. And today, for some reason, the football gods shined on us, and we had the Paya sack, we had a dropped interception, and just some good stuff happened that does not usually happen.
Yeah,
it was encouraging and fun to watch it for once. Yep. Would anybody like to know take a guess as to who our leading tacklers were? What do you think?
Oh, okay.
I'm going to guess Goldson.
I'm going to guess Keenan Robinson.
No.
Robinson's a good guess. I'm going to go with Hall.
It was who?
It was Robinson and Robinson, both.
Oh, wow.
Keenan Robinson and Trenton Robinson were tied for 6 tackles each. Who said Hall? Alex?
Yeah.
Hall, Riley, and Kerrigan all had 4 tackles each, and then Paya with 3 tackles in the sack. So, there you go.
D'Angelo Hall deserves. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Well, you're going to bring up Hall, so why don't you make your point on him first, then I'm going to add praise on him after it.
There you go. Keep it on.
I just got to say, I mean, D'Angelo Hall, other than that big touchdown pass that Nick Foles threw, D'Angelo Hall is looking like that D Hall that we had his last Pro Bowl-esque season 2 years ago, I want to say.
Yeah.
He's looking very solid in his coverage and he's looking like the smart player that he was. He's jumping the gun on a lot of things and putting himself in great coverage on most of these plays. And he's looking really good after what happened to him last year to recover and be playing the way he is right now. It's incredible.
Well, and I mean, I'm just going to throw on, like I said, I'll heap some on too. Last year, I kept on saying, well, when Griffin went down, we had to throw our offensive game plan out the window a lot. I really think now, when D'Angelo Hall went down, it totally changed the look of our defense, and our secondary actually looks like an NFL secondary just because he's in it this year.
And wait till Culliver comes back. Now you have
I think so.
And you have D Hall and Breland and Culliver, all 3 as your top 3 guys, and that's something to be pretty excited about.
Oh yeah,
definitely. And Foles looked lost.
And I would bet
all day. I mean, he looked really bad, and I've got to say, when he was able to get the ball off, the receivers were tightly covered. Our defensive backfield is so much improved.
The one touchdown I thought was a well-designed, well-executed play. I'd be willing to bet, we need to see the all-22 for this, but I'd be willing to bet that Hall got suckered in on the play action, and that was how Kenny Britt got a step on him. Because it was cover 3, and so they just ran straight down the field, and I think he probably had a step on him going all the way down the field. But other than that, that kind of buzzed. The secondary looked good all day. I think you're exactly right, Sean. Having Hall back there to be the adult, quote unquote, I guess, and be the competent pro really, really helps. And, to have Hall and Culver back there together. But the other thing really is we've got a competent safety, back there. Have y'all noticed that Trenton Robinson has led the team in tackles for 2 weeks in a row now? Or tied?
Honestly, full disclosure, I hadn't noticed.
Trenton Robinson was our leading tackler last week, too. Yeah, it's a world difference between having, him and Goldson back there than, Ryan Clark and Brandon Merriweather.
God. Though I want to say, quick tangent here, Brandon Merriweather started for the Giants, I believe, last week, was it? And he had a great game.
Yeah, big forced fumble.
Yeah.
They should have won. They handed that game to Dallas, by the way.
That was an atrocity.
When Merriweather was here, if he was healthy, he had a good game every once in a while. That wasn't the issue. It was the 10 games where he was just injured or not up to his normal caliber of play.
Okay, so now a special shout out for me. You guys gotta love what Keenan Robinson is bringing to our defense.
Amen, brother.
He is. He is so fast, and yet people don't realize how fast he is. They had that one outside running play they tried to do with Tavon Austin, like a jet sweep reverse type thing. I don't remember exactly, but Keenan Robinson was step for step right next to him, and
that closing speed, man.
Oh, it was awesome. I wish he could catch some interceptions when they come to him, though, because he'd be one of the early favorites for defensive player of the month or something, because he's just been that stout in his run defense and coverage. He's really done so much better than we all expected he would from when he first started.
He's got to be the best tackler on the team.
That's what excites me the most is he's kind of already making this little rollout for himself where he loves to pick up guys and do a suplex or just drive them into the ground after he's picked them up in the air.
For real.
I don't know.
At some point, he's going to get a penalty on that, though.
How he's gotten that strong that quickly, but he's tossing guys around like rag dolls.
Yeah.
At some point, he's going to get a a roughing.
I'm surprised he survived so far without getting more penalized for some of those tackles. And I guess they're legal, but it always surprises me. Some of them are brutal.
The thing about Keenan Robinson that impresses me is that with him, it's sort of a quiet excellence kind of thing. He's not flashy.
London Fletcher was like that.
He's not going to. Yeah, he was. You almost don't notice how good Robinson is until you stop to go back and think about all the things he did. He is in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
He is. I think the defense as a whole. I'll give Joe Barry this much credit. They really swarmed to the ball like we haven't done in a long time. These players is almost like a college team swarming to the ball. And Keenan is leading that charge. I think.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, and one thing too that I think needs notice too, we overall as a D line we're getting a lot more pressure than last week. I thought we
consistent.
We put up 3 sacks last week, but this week it seemed noticeably different that we were actually getting back there more consistently. The stats don't show that, but it was definitely having an effect on Nick Foles.
Sure.
So
Robbie, what do you think of Knighton? How's Knighton
I think he's doing much more than people think just because of how big he is and how much space he eats. He's not really getting tackles or involved in a lot of these plays, but he is such a mass. It's like trying to move a brick wall. I would hate to block that guy. He's just so bigger than anybody out in the field.
Yeah.
What he's bringing to this team is not stats, but it's about support, which is fine. You would like to see
need that too.
You would like to see him get some TFLs or getting in on a sack or something, but this defense isn't about really the stats. It's about stopping the run and keeping them in front of you. If you get a pick, you get a pick. If you get a forced fumble, hooray. But they're not really trying to do anything flashy. They're just playing straight football, and that's the cool thing. One last thing that I wanted to kind of give a shout out to as well. I mean, he didn't really have a big game overall, but Preston Smith was still getting good pressure, and he almost had that pick there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in coverage
was
and
close.
almost had that pick. Oh, that would have been awesome if he got that pick. But, yeah, so I'm still very encouraged by how Preston Smith is doing, too.
Well, speaking of the, pass rushers there, I loved that when we got them into the and long situations, third and long, second and long even, all we saw was Hatcher, Smith, Murphy, and Kerrigan rushing the passer.
That's a great
Everyone
call
else
out.
would drop back, but those four guys, all good pass rushers, just going after Nick Foles. And they didn't get to him a lot. I mean, Murphy had that one play where he hit him and caused a bad throw.
Sure.
But still, that's exactly what you really want to see. You don't want to have to dial up a fancy blitz. Just rush four guys.
Yeah.
Well, and they're succeeding because they are getting pressure on the quarterback and making it difficult for him, even if they aren't getting to him.
He's dumping it
before the
off
ball
or
is
he's
thrown.
throwing it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw that really well just before the halftime in that final drive they were trying to pull off. You saw that great pressure from the interior guys right there. It was great series there. I wanted to ask you guys last question on defense, then we should chat a little bit about special teams. But what about Ryan Kerrigan? He was matched up against a rookie, and I didn't see a lot of flashes from him. Is he rusty still from not playing preseason, or what's going on?
Here's my thing with Kerrigan. I think it's his pass rush moves that are kind of taking him out of the play. If you go back and watch, he's rushing so far upfield. I feel he's just taking himself out of the play.
You mean he's overshooting the quarterback?
I think he's going way too far upfield. I'm not too sure if his role is keeping contain on Nick Foles or anything. Just keeping him inside of you and not trying to work an inside rush or something. But Kerrigan, I really feel like if he could use a spin move at times, he'd really have a better chance of getting pressure and getting a sack. Because go back and watch this game, and you see him consistently, doing that rip move, trying to rush way upfield and turn the corner, and it ends up just taking him right out of the play. And really, it's an easy block for a tackle to do that. When he knows you're just running way upfield, he just needs to kick a couple steps for depth, and that's it. It's an easy block.
He's going to drive you
and
right
if he
past
knows
the
you're not
quarterback.
going to, if he knows you're not going to rush inside and take advantage of that, then he can even kick out to you and run you by. You don't even have to account for an inside rush. So I think he just needs to really work on changing it up, unless the coaches are asking him to do what he's doing.
Well, why would they worry about contain on Nick Foles?
That's a good question.
That's a great question.
I mean, he does look a step slow to me, to be honest, too.
He's kicking the rust off, man.
He did have the nice forced fumble, though. Kind of just punched it out. Jason, I think it was Trey Mason from behind on that one play. He got him and then kind of punched it out with the other guy on tackling him as well. I mean, he's getting some stats, but it's not really reflecting to me on how, I wouldn't say poor, but just unflashy and un-Kerrigan-like to me.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to remember, though, that, Kerrigan last year was his career year. He has not been consistently a top 5 defensive end linebacker. He was kind of the second banana to Brian Orakpo here when Orakpo was healthy, which wasn't all the time. So I think the fans may have gotten a little bit of an unrealistic expectation for Kerrigan to be great all the time, when really what he was he was solid. He played heads up, smart football. He wasn't ever the most athletic, most quick guy out there. If he can, get 7 or 8 sacks a year, between even 8 and 10 sacks a year, I think that may be a little bit more of a reasonable expectation.
And I guess the correlation to make here, though, is Robert Quinn didn't have any sacks today. It was just, Chris Long and Aaron Donald that really kind of were getting pressure there.
True.
Robert Quinn was getting handled by Trent Williams.
Yeah, that was not a great game for their pass rush.
I think, by the way, we brought the question of Trent Williams up in the game preview, wondering about his ankle and everything. I think he conclusively answered the question that he is completely healthy.
Fine to me.
Yeah, he definitely shut down Quinn on the.
But
I'm
not a doctor.
No.
Well, let's put on our doctor hats and diagnose this special teams debacle because it was a continuation of what we saw last week, I thought. A number of things bad. We saw Crowder take a couple returns. He didn't do much, but we can talk about whether or not that's really on him. Something that I wanted to call out before we jump into it, Matt Jones on those kicking teams. He's playing special teams and he's blocking for the field goal kickers. The punting too. He let up that near block. I think he let up both of those near blocks actually. So I just wanted to call that out. Get that dude off special teams, please.
Why isn't Young in there blocking? That's my big thing. He should be the one doing that anyway.
It seems like Jones might even be a little bigger than Young. Is he? Is that an illusion? I mean, he's definitely taller.
Than Young.
Yeah.
I think he's height wise bigger.
Yeah.
I think they're.
I don't think he weighs more. I think Hall's a little. Young is probably a little bulkier than Jones. I'd like to call out Jameson Crowder. The boy needs to learn when to fair catch, when to not fair catch, because he was terrible in that respect. It's just inexperience.
I agree with you, except for the one play where the ball bounced and looked like it was just keep bouncing for the Rams' way, and he grabbed it at like the 16 and got it up to the 18. That to me was a smart heads-up play on his part, because if he had let that go, it'd probably be our ball at the 5 instead of the 18.
Yeah, but one good decision is overshadowed by the 4 bad decisions that he made.
Because he got like annihilated on one of those.
Yeah, the guy got him by the leg, and I'm amazed
awful.
he didn't get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was going to be concussion, honestly.
My thing that bothering me is our downfield blocking in these things. I mean, he needs to make better decisions, just fair catch, but I mean, give him a chance to return the ball. I mean, guys are on top of him pretty much as soon as he catches it.
Yeah.
I need to kind of go back and watch the film, but I mean, at first glance, it just seems like he's not getting any time to even read the field as soon as he catches the ball.
You're right. And that's why he needs to just fair catch until we get some better blockers. He needs to just fair catch.
Because it's been that way for how many years now?
Good blockers forever. I'll tell you the one thing that blew my mind on special teams. Both the Rams and the Redskins took timeouts on punt downs. It was 4th and long, and they both took a timeout rather than just punt the ball away right away, which was very odd to me. Yeah. And then we had like that whole sequence of
3 straight penalties.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
It was 4 straight penalty. Yeah. It was really 4 straight. Yeah. They just had to they had to repunt 3 times.
That was hilarious.
Thank goodness the last penalty was after the punt occurred.
You can see the look on Hochuley's face was like, I mean, it's like, I just want to go to the next play, but you guys can't. You're making it hard for us to do that, man. Come on.
The look on the punter's face was the same.
Talk about icing the kicker. They put him on Mount fucking Everest. Speaking of,
I'd like to give a shout out to.
That's what exactly what I was going to do. Talk about it, man.
Was that where you're going? Yeah, I mean the Dustin Hopkins experience, was a success.
Absolutely.
What can you say? He put the ball through the end zone. He made his 1 field goal. Made the extra points.
He
no complaints about Dustin Hopkins. He's going to miss sometimes. But I think they're going to be much happier with him because
like I said in our last episode. I mean, I'd rather have a guy that can boot the hell out of it and miss a couple here and there than a guy who can't boot the hell out of it and miss a couple here and there. Yeah.
I'm the same way. It seems like if you have a weak leg and an occasional miss, you're like easily replaced because you can find someone with a strong leg and the occasional miss, which hopefully we found in this guy. But he gave the fans a nice football to take home today, which is beautiful. Yep. So anyways, that was the game, and a beautiful one it was. Anybody got any final shout outs? Anything we didn't mention?
Not really anymore, but just I guess looking ahead, they have a quick turnaround, having to turn around and play the Giants on Thursday. So it'd be interesting to see, if anything is different scheme-wise and game planning-wise to kind of, I guess, account for the grind that they've already been through from already playing a game 4 days before.
Did you ever have that quick of a turnaround? Playing?
I never did.
Bobby?
It was all Saturday, following the next Saturday. Every game was on a Saturday for me, at least when I played.
It's probably the safe way to do it
Yeah.
because this is brutal.
Well, yeah, we all know it's about business and it's about ratings and advertising income on a Thursday and building the brand. It has nothing to do with the players. Honestly, I think it's probably a little unsafe.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I'd be shocked if
know.
any medical professional said that this was a good idea.
Yeah.
That may be true. I will say, though, that from a player's perspective, at least by how Chris Cooley was wording it, last year I remember him talking about this when they were talking about our Thursday night game. But having a Thursday night game this early in the season is very much like a miniature bye week. So we'll have our Thursday night game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it sucks that you have to turn around and play another game, but I think it's kind of like, you get it done early and you're get it done and you're done, and you have the rest of the weekend and the following, some of the following days after that to kind of get some R&R and take some time off and recover.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but I guess the Redskins are doing Mondays as their down day now instead of Tuesdays, from what I saw. So these guys are going to have a 4-day weekend.
And that's interesting,
basically.
too, because Mondays for college is their off days. You'd have your Saturday game, your Sunday, post-game workout to kind of get the kinks out and watch film, meet for a little bit, and then Monday you're completely off. That's like the coaches' days to game plan and watch all the film and do what they need to do to get ready for the next week while the players relax and come in on Tuesday.
I always wondered why the NFL does the Tuesday down day. It really made no
Yeah,
sense.
that does
to me
seem
ever.
weird.
Yeah. What my final game thoughts here? Again, I think this game was won in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I think you could line up Kermit the Frog back there at running back, at quarterback, and we would have probably still won the game. Or Kermit the Frog or John Beck. Because they're about one. And the same.
Don't stake your reputation. I give the edge to Kermit.
Or Danny Werfel. Or Danny Werfel maybe, would have done fine. Point is, we beat them at the point of attack in the trenches on both sides of the ball, and that is why we won the game. I do think probably, honestly, the Rams had a little bit of a letdown game, after their big win against the Seahawks. They did the same thing last year. Yeah, they did the same thing last year, but a win is a win is a win, and it's a reason to celebrate.
And I'm sorry.
But I will one final thought, and then I'll shut up. I think the team. Jay Gruden said it in his post-game presser. They need to learn how to not only learn how to win, but learn how to keep winning.
Yeah.
One win should not be this big of a celebration. It should be. It should be. They hopefully will get to the point where they will act like they've been there before, which we haven't thus far. And I know we all hate the Patriots because they're the cheaters and everything, but they do. One good thing they do is they act like a win is no big deal, and we're moving on to the next one. And if we build a good team, that is where we're going to get to. We won. It's no big deal. Next victim.
The only thing that worried me at all was that we were a little slow when we got into the second half.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a great game. And I understand why people feel so good, and it's because we got beaten so badly by the Rams last year.
Yeah. And they humiliated us.
Yes, this feels kind of like we exercised some demons out of FedEx Field for a little while anyway.
Sweet revenge.
There's a hell of a lot of demons at FedEx.
We didn't
a
even
lot
make
of
it
dead
then.
bodies buried in there somewhere, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, how could you not be happy with beating the Rams after what they did last year to us?
Yeah, true story.
And I have one final shout out. I think this deserves praise. I thought the coaches really had a great game too. They all week that they're studying game prep for this game. Their game plan, I think, was a very solid game for them. They had a couple of those conservative calls on 3rd and long, but I think we really outcoached St. Louis this game too. We really kind of took advantage of their schemes, and Jay Gruden and his staff, I think, really deserves a shout out for that game.
Amen.
Which they don't normally get. So you got to give it to them when they do.
Normally they're on the receiving end of being out game plan,
schemed.
So it's good to see, and if it couldn't happen to a bigger putz than Jeff Fisher, as far as I'm concerned.
That guy's a
King
dick.
Bullet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would agree with everything you guys said. And Alex, to your point, I think it was a great game outside of that third quarter. We stalled a little bit there. That was where they scored their only points. But other than that, it was a damn good game. Loved what I saw. Let's keep the momentum going. So, that said, that's the game recap. We'll be back with you next week after the Giants game. We'll actually be back with you before that for the preview. So make sure you check in on thehogsty.com for that. And we'll see you next time. Take care.
I just threw a touchdown pass. Yay!